So as you run lead generation exercises, reaching out to people, trying to start conversations, trying to get people onto calls, the first thing that people generally interact with, generally see, and generally use as the basis as to whether or not they're gonna interact with you further is, of course, your headline. Hey, how's it going? Ryan Caswell here from b2bleads.com. Today I want to talk about how to write the perfect headline for LinkedIn. So when I'm talking about your headline on LinkedIn, what I am of course talking about is if you go onto your LinkedIn personal profile, you've got your profile picture here, and then underneath it, you have essentially, well, it's your headline. It's called your headline. And it is, a lot of people just put their job description there or their title. But for anyone who wants to actually generate leads, this is a perfect opportunity to use this space here as a way to tap into your ideal clients' needs, wants, and gets them to want to read more about you, read your about section, and then take some initial call to action. Now, the cool thing about your headline is it follows you around on LinkedIn. So as you reach out to connect with people, as you start conversations, as you comment on people's posts, all that stuff, your headline follows you around. So if it is catchy, catches people's attention, it identifies your core market, the problems that you solve or the solutions that you provide, it's gonna get their attention and it's gonna get them to want to click on that link, end up on your profile, see these images here, get their attention, and then want to read more. And then they head into your about section, essentially the top of your funnel that's gonna funnel them to eventually talk to you and become a client, a sale. So how do we write the perfect headline that's actually going to get people's attention and get them to want to read? So the first thing we need to consider is who. We need to identify who, the target market, the people that we actually provide support to, the industry, all that kind of stuff, small businesses, Australian small businesses. If you're a localized business, identify where you actually are, because that's going to help build trust. Some people like to deal with local businesses. We want to identify our core target market. Then we want to identify the problem or solution that we provide, the problem that we solve. It might be helping with cash flow. Mine is B2B lead generation. So business to business lead generation, book demos. So that is both the problem and the who, the business to business. Lately, I've been also focusing more on technical type products and services, B2B, SaaS, IT companies, things like that. And so I believe I've got that in the headline now. I'm always experimenting with different headlines, but I'm identifying the who and the problem, which is lead generation, which from my experience has been one of the biggest problems I've seen for a lot of small businesses or at least the perceived biggest problem, is that initial top of funnel filling their sales pipeline with new prospects and leads. So we want to identify the who and the problem. These are the two main things. You don't necessarily have to identify the what. So for example, the what in my title could be B2B lead generation with LinkedIn. So for me, that would be telling people that I'm providing leads through LinkedIn. But for me, I don't always put that in. I mean, I do experiment with, like I said, different things, but the what is less important than the actual outcome, because today I'm using LinkedIn, tomorrow I might not be. I don't really care. I just care about what provides the best results for the best input, output, best ratio of return. So we want to focus on who we're helping, what problem we solve. Sometimes we can talk about the what, especially it does depend, because some people are looking for very specific services or specific things. So it can help in certain instances to identify that what. Now we also want to build, where possible, things like credibility. And that's why you often see people put things like speaker, author, and CEO of reputable brand, things like that in the title, because that all helps in some small way build credibility and trust as someone who is knowledgeable and credible in their area of expertise. What I will say as well, just to finish off with your headline, is of course not to use any filler text. So for instance, CEO could be beneficial to say, you're CEO of some company. Where it's more beneficial is if the company has some brand recognition already, or has a powerful name that people would recognize. But if it's CEO of Blippity Blop, something that doesn't necessarily correlate with the problem that you solve, then it doesn't mean anything to anyone. And it just becomes filler text and doesn't actually hold any credibility. So you're better off just getting rid of it entirely. So there's no, as long as you have the who and the problem, These are the key things that you need to have in it. Now, depending on the size of your business, what you do, the industry, a bunch of other things, you may want to put the what in, you may want to try and include some sort of credibility build in there. But yeah, it does depend. So yeah, if you want to try writing a headline, putting it in the comments below, I'll be happy to have a look, make some comments in there as well. I might put some examples down below the video as well, just for reference of ideas to help get your creative juices flowing. So super important, don't overlook the headline. It's essentially your core value proposition. Even though it's only short, it's one of the most important things you can do with your LinkedIn profile and your outbound lead generation. So hope that's been helpful. As always, I'm Ryan Caswell from b2bleads.com. Have a great day. Cheers.